Hello and welcome to today's reading. Today we are doing another Bibliomancy reading. If you are new to this channel or you are unfamiliar with Bibliomancy, Bibliomancy is the use of books or other written materials, selecting a random passage and divining a meaning from it. And as always, all of the books or decks that are used in my readings are linked in the description box. So if you want to check out any of the materials we use today, you can go down there and see that. Today we are using The Winds of Dune by Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson. We are on page 187. The numbers 1, 8, or 7 might be important to you. The number 187, 87, 88, or 77 might be important to you. I'm also seeing that there is, for some of you, there is a cycle closing, and it's something that you are very aware of and something that you might be consciously working on closing. You might be closing a business, ending a relationship, removing yourself from a physical environment, something like that. But it is something you're aware of. So if you are not aware of a cycle closing, then that message is not for you. Let's continue with the reading. Gurney's fingers strummed a beautiful chord. The wood certainly seemed equivalent and perhaps even superior to the instruments he'd tested in the past hour. My balisette is old and in need of repair. It's my fourth one. You're hard on your instruments. Life has been hard on me. His fingers kept playing as he plucked out a more ambitious tune. The sound was pleasing. The craftsman saw Gurney forming an attachment to the instrument. They say balisettes choose their players, not the other way around. Setting the instrument back on the table, Gurney reached into his pocket and displayed the images of Paul and Bronso. To be honest, I'm not just in the market for a balisette. I'm searching for these two young men. One is the son of my master. He stroked the curve of the balisette enticingly. I'd be in a position to reward you with a sale and a generous bonus if you can help me find them. The craftsman looked at the image, but shook his head. Everyone around here has an apprentice. They all look the same to me. These boys weren't apprentices. They were a jongleur troupe. Oh yes, I heard about their performance. The same night Master Ombar Alec was killed. Seeing another passerby, he lifted a chunk of his polished wood and called out, "Balisettes made with the Alec clone wood. Now's your last chance. With the Alecs killed and their arbor burned, these will be the only such instruments ever made." As the passerby continued on his way, uninterested, the vendor lowered his voice once more to Gurney, conspiratorially now. What I'm getting from this reading is that you may have been on the hunt for something. Maybe this is in line with the cycle closing that I was picking up on earlier. But I feel like you have been putting a lot of energy into searching for something. It could be a connection of some kind, an emotion, a feeling of satisfaction. Maybe that thing that you were closing out or are closing out has been something that you thought would bring you a lot of fulfillment, but it just hasn't. And this searching feeling is you looking through that thing, through that scenario, relationship, whatever, and looking for the fulfillment in it, discovering that it isn't there, and deciding to end that experience. I'm getting that you are preparing yourself to look elsewhere for this thing that you once looked somewhere else for. So even if this isn't a cycle closure for you, this could be that you used to look for self-love and acceptance through your relationships, your status, the possessions that you had, things like that, and you have realized that it's not as satisfying as it used to be, or it's not as satisfying as you thought it would be, and that there must be something deeper, there must be something more. And I'm getting that you are starting to turn inward, regardless of which group you're in here, that you're starting to turn inward and look deep inside of yourself and look for that satisfaction from the inside. I'm getting that you are beginning to really investigate and examine what it is that is causing this feeling of lack, this gap, this emptiness that you have been experiencing for some time. I just had the image of a child, happy and joyful, and that classic hazy image of a child laughing. And I'm getting that maybe when you were a kid, you were happy and go-lucky, and you were very upbeat and positive, and at some point that changed, and you were where you were once someone who was full of light and joy, you're now someone who feels very cold and dark. My fingers are cold right now. You might physically be cold. This might be something to do with seasonal depression. You might be, if you ovulate, this may be you're at a point in your cycle where you are just feeling drained, you are cold, you're feeling anemic, and you may be in a cold location on top of there being dreary weather, things like that. It's really just emphasizing this feeling that you have inside of you. And this may be your tipping point, your breaking point, where you don't want to feel this anymore. And even though you know that a lot of it is being exacerbated by the current conditions, it doesn't mean that it isn't true and that it isn't there underlying all the time. And you're kind of sick of it, I'm getting, and you're ready to just uproot it. Just find the base of this problem and pull it up by the roots so that you never have to deal with it again. And that is such an amazing place to be. For a lot of people, spiritual awakenings come through pain and through trauma. I don't know that there are many people who have a spiritual awakening without that experience, and I feel that you are currently experiencing this. You are identifying this sense of emptiness, of coldness, of lack, and you are looking for a deeper root. You're looking for a deeper meaning. You're looking to revive that happy child that once was, or that you wish you could have been. I just keep getting imagery of it was warm and now it's cold, like when it's 50 degrees out Fahrenheit and you're outside and it's sunny and you're in the sun and the sun is warming your skin up, but all of a sudden a cloud moves in front of the sun and blocks it out, and now it's cold. And again, that child where it's happy and warm and bright, and it's suddenly cold and dark, and you're older and like willowy and thin, and just there's a lack feeling here. I'm really sorry that you're dealing with this, that you're going through this, but I will say that there are brighter times ahead. This is a perfect time to be going through this process right now because you have the root right in front of you. You're hyper aware of it. You're attuned to it. And if you're going to figure out the cause of this issue, it's going to be right now. So while you might be feeling discouraged and empty and frustrated, that frustration and discouragement will guide you through this process, through this self-discovery. And I'm seeing the child, take your hand. It's offering its hand to you, and it wants to take your hand and show you the way. I want to say before we end this reading that this isn't an easy experience to go through, and if you have the resources to get help with this situation, I highly recommend that. But remember that ultimately it's up to you, and ultimately the answers are coming from you. So even if you can't afford to get any help with this, or you don't have friends who can support you in this, all you need is you. And if you do have the ability to get support, don't let them give you answers that aren't yours. This is your journey and your process, and this is your moment. And there's a bittersweetness coming through now where it's like, I've been waiting for you to see me. I've been waiting for you to stop looking everywhere except at me. And that's such a beautiful sentiment. And I think that you're going to be okay. I think that you are going to be just fine. I don't see this turning out poorly. There's a warning, though, that should you decide to ignore it, it will come back again. It's a promise, too, because it will give you the opportunity to work through this. I'm getting that, like I said earlier, you're sick of this feeling, and the rest of you is sick of it, too. So it's going to give you every opportunity to be aware of it until you sort it out. But that is all I am seeing for you today. I hope that this reading was helpful. I hope that it resonated. Leave a comment down below. If it did, let me know what's going on, what's up. If you liked this video, please give it a like. If you aren't subscribed already, please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell and select all notifications so that you actually get updated when I upload a new reading. But until next time, bye.